tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
Our testing centres are at their maximum capacity. Do not go to a testing centre unless you have symptoms.
And if you have symptoms, assume it's COVID and stay home. Dr. Henry's plea to British Columbians as we break another record for daily cases. Also,
at least I need to work out outside.
Muscling through snow, ice, and cold. BC braces for a frigid blast of winter weather just ahead of Christmas. And
we can do this 12 months a year.
Growing up and indoors. The benefits and challenges of vertical farming in BC.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Christmas Eve. After 4 straight days of record-breaking COVID-19 cases, health officials say testing centres in our province have reached maximum capacity. They're urging some British Columbians to simply stay home if they're feeling ill. As John Hernandez reports, some experts say if the testing crunch continues, we won't know how widespread this virus has become.
Omicron is different.
A last-minute warning for British Columbians heading into the holidays.
In a sense, we're in a different game, a different pandemic now.
This week, COVID-19 case counts in BC reached record-breaking and concerning highs. The numbers driven by the Omicron variant, which is becoming the dominant strain here.
The incubation period, or the time between exposure and getting sick yourself and being able to pass it on to the others, to someone else, is very small. What we were usually seeing in 5 to 7 days on average is now down to around 2 to 3 days.
Transmission is putting strain on testing centers which have reached maximum capacity. On Thursday, more than 20,000 PCR tests were administered, and on Christmas Eve, more long lineups. Health officials are now urging some people to simply stay home.
If you are younger and vaccinated and no other risk factors, you don't necessarily need a test.
It's a strategy some experts say could be helpful as the province tries to contain the spread.
What we need to do is prevent onward transmission, whether we're testing positive or not. So I think the messaging makes sense. Stay home. You don't expose people at the testing site. Preserve testing for people who really have to go to work.
There's also concerns that if testing centers continue to reach limits, it will become even more challenging to know just how widespread the virus is.
Tomorrow, if we have 3,000 cases, well, would we have had 4,000 if we hadn't bumped up against that? And that makes forecasting harder.
The Omicron variant, a puzzle the province says is slowly coming together, but much is still unknown. So British Columbians are asked to keep gatherings small in the coming days in hopes BC can buck the alarming trend in the new year. John Hernandez, CBC News, Vancouver.
And heads up, if you were set to go for a COVID test at the St. Vincent's Testing Centre, that's at 33rd and Cambie in Vancouver tomorrow, Coastal Health is closing the site on Christmas Day as frigid winter weather moves in. People going for a test are now being redirected to a new indoor testing site at the Life Sciences Centre at UBC. It's on Health Sciences Mall. Coastal Health says it can test the same amount of people as the other site. It will be open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week, and there's free parking. No word yet when the site at 33rd and Cambie will reopen after Christmas. Now, as we said, BC's COVID-19 case count has hit another record, 2,441 cases today, the highest it's ever been so far. But it's not the only record we broke today. Active cases are now sitting at an all-time high of 10,415. Today, Fraser Health overtook Vancouver Coastal Health in new cases, but not by much. That region went up just over 1,000 today for the first time. Omicron cases have also gone up by almost 40% to just over 1,600, and a majority of those cases are in Coastal Health, about 959. The NHL is delaying its return by another day. This means all games scheduled for Monday have been canceled. That means the Canucks will no longer play the Seattle Kraken on the 27th at Rogers Arena. Their next scheduled tilt is on Wednesday against the Anaheim Ducks, and then the next home game is on January 5th against the Islanders. The team says the league is still in the process of reviewing and revising its regular season schedule. A day after UBC announced most January courses will begin online, several more post-secondary institutions are doing the same. Simon Fraser University, the University of Victoria, and the University of Northern BC have all laid out plans to shift most of their courses to remote learning. SFU and UVic will provide majority instruction virtually for at least the first 3 weeks of the spring semester. All first classes at UNBC will be online. Those decisions go against Dr. Henry's recommendation to keep teaching in person, which he argues has a low risk for transmission. The chances of a white Christmas here on the South Coast are usually pretty slim compared to most major Canadian cities, but this year we might just get one. Susana Da Silva explains, while it might look pretty, officials want you to be prepared.
There's determination, and then there's determination.
Oh, it's snowing. The weak version of me told me, okay, today just take a day off. But the new version of me, the stronger version of me, can't accept this.
He moved from Kuwait 2 years ago with aspirations of boxing, but gyms now closed thanks to COVID. A little snow wasn't going to stop him.
It makes you present because we usually overthink. Too much social media, too much everything, we overthink. Once you're present, because your body is cold, right? It requires your attention. I'm cold, I'm cold.
But the snow today, with high winds, did stop crews from running equipment needed to clear ice off the cables on the Alex Fraser Bridge, shutting it down until early afternoon. And there is more coming, with a likely rare white Christmas on the South Coast, with 5 to 10 centimeters in Metro Vancouver. With places like Vancouver Island expecting to be even harder hit. Then after the snow comes potentially daily record-breaking cold.
Monday morning on the 27th, lows down to -12. Now that's going to combine with some cold winds coming out of the Fraser Valley and from Howe Sound. So the wind chill values could be pushing -20.
Yes, please.
A food truck sponsored by a Surrey Sikh temple has now begun a 24-hour hot meal service for those living on the streets.
These days, some people come with breads, some people comes with donuts, but in a cold, I think they need a hot meal.
Having a nice hot meal like this is great.
Abdul Wahab says he will see what adjustments he will need to make.
In Vancouver, it's my first time experiencing -20. I don't know how it's gonna feel, but if I can do push-ups, it's all good.
And everyone is being told to be ready for another set of extremes to hit the province. Susana Da Silva, CBC News, Vancouver.
Our BC-wide weather forecast now with meteorologist Nick Czernkovich. Nick, we know snow not always present on Christmas Day, at least here in Metro Vancouver, but it's the temperatures that are the real concern, right?
Yeah, it is, and you're going to see that in the warnings that have popped up here, Dan. It's all about the temperatures in this cold Arctic air that's driving down, and it's going to continue to drive down over the next few days. Take a look at the weather pattern here, taking us into Saturday on Christmas Day and Sunday as well, and into Monday. Our overnight lows dropping down to near record levels. Now, there's some key takeaways here. We are looking at extreme cold. We've got record low temperatures in the forecast. We're going to see wind chills anywhere from about -15 down to -40 in northern BC, and we've got winter driving conditions as well with some of the snowfall that's going to come. Now, we've got warnings in effect, but the takeaway from all of this is the cold weather. Some snow out toward the Kootenays could be as much as about 30 centimeters in the passes. For Metro Vancouver and up the Fraser Valley there, what we're really looking at is the cold Arctic outflow. That means cold temperatures and wind chills as well. One of the reminders here, if you have travel plans, make sure you take warm blankets, candles, and your emergency kit with you in case you break down. It's not just the snowfall that we're talking about, but it's the cold weather. There is snow that's funneling in, but it's a relatively dry system just because the temperatures are so cold. We're seeing a transition from rain to snow tonight, and then we'll get snowfall continuing on and off as we move through Saturday and into Sunday as well across basically all of southern BC before things clear out on Sunday night. And when they clear out on Sunday night, we'll see the temperatures overnight plunge under clear skies. How much can you expect? About 5 centimeters of snow by tomorrow, and then we're looking at a little bit more as we move through the region over the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, the forecast for the next 5 days looks like this. Snowfall totals 5, perhaps 10 centimeters of snow, but this is the big story. We've got temperatures that are down near record levels and wind chills in Metro Vancouver, Dan, of like -20 or less.
We're not used to it, Nick, and hopefully we can get as many people inside as we can. Merry Christmas to you.
You too as well.
Coastal GasLink has now dropped charges against 2 journalists arrested on Wet'suwet'en territory in BC last month. Photojournalist Amber Bracken and documentary filmmaker Michael Toledano were charged with civil contempt against the pipeline injunction. They're no longer required to appear in court in mid-February. Bracken and Toledano were among more than a dozen people arrested by RCMP during the Wet'suwet'en blockades in November. They spent 4 days in jail. Their arrests met staunch criticism from journalism advocates, including the Canadian Association of Journalists. It says they, quote, exhale in huge relief that the charges have been dropped. It's a happy Christmas story in Nanaimo. A starving dog and her puppies have found their way into a safe, loving home.
She's so lovely. Like she's just super kind-hearted, and you can see it when you look in her eyes. Like I think she's grateful. She's happy. You look in her eyes and it's like she's saying thank you.
Celeste was found abandoned, cold, and hungry, trying to care for 5 puppies in the elements. So Nanaimo SPCA took them in, and Elaine Nelson-Hozak volunteered her rural home to foster the mother and her little brood. They're slowly being nursed back to health in a labor of love. That's awesome. As BC faces big concerns about climate change and food security, several local companies are working on agriculture technology to combat those challenges. Vertical farming is one way to grow produce indoors, but as our Benit Brach shows us, where you do it can be a challenge.
This head of lettuce is not grown in your usual field crop, rather just behind me indoors.
This machine harvests about 9,500 heads of lettuce per month. Trays of lettuce, basil, and leafy greens move under these LED lights with water full of nutrients pumped to each rack.
We can do this 12 months a year. So you're probably 52 times more productive per acre of land.
No pesticides or herbicides are used either. Cubic Farms sells its technology to farmers for large-scale commercial farming. Others are vertically farming on a smaller scale. In this classroom, up to 900 heads of lettuce are grown in a month.
So it's really important to have something scalable and local that you can grow and not be cut off.
In BC, there's over 150 agri-tech companies, which includes vertical farming. Experts say they're mainly in their adolescent phase, focusing on leafy greens. A main hurdle for vertical farming is finding a space to grow, particularly on agricultural land reserve.
The ALR protects about 4.7 million hectares of arable land in BC. The province allows vertical or indoor farming if the total area from which soil is removed or fill is placed is 1,000 meters square or less.
It's very difficult to do vertical farming on the agricultural land reserve. It's possible, but there's a lot of caveats to that.
Advocates say ALR is cheaper than industrial land, less difficult to access, and more accessible for transportation.
We'd be much more productive on that land, and we don't need any of the nice land.
As part of this 2019 report, experts suggest 0.25% of ALR land ill-suited for farming with low-quality soil should be used to maximize on agriculture tech.
Because of this lack of flexibility, we aren't actually farming the farmland. And this is a way we can put it into production to support local food security.
She is hopeful that there's more progress soon. BC's Agriculture Ministry did not comment about challenges for agri-tech zoning on ALR land. It says it's still studying expert recommendations and how or if they fit within the government's value of promoting farming and protecting farmland. Benit Brach, CBC News, Abbotsford.
BC is just one of several provinces battling a COVID surge this Christmas season. Coming up, a look across Canada. Stick around. Hello to everyone watching on our commercial-free live stream tonight. Thank you for being here on this Christmas Eve. Every December, young dancers from St. John get a chance to be part of a Christmas classic, The Nutcracker. And tonight we hear from one of the youngest in the group. Have a look.
My name is Henry English, and I take part as the Fritz, aka the naughty little boy in the party scene, and the Jester. I don't want to spoil the show, but he's a very naughty little kid, and he makes trouble. He likes to ramble around with his partners in crime. Knowing that he was a little naughty boy, I thought that it would suit me pretty well. I never really thought about doing it when I was only watching the show, but now that I think about it, it's very fun to partake in the ballet. I meet people, and it is a very fun activity to do, considering that it's a different way to show myself in a different way that I'm not normal to. I liked to just dance. I don't know if it was a certain style, but yeah, I don't know if it was a certain style, but I just like to go around dancing. My mom, she was like, "So Henry, you know Nora, how she takes part in the Nutcracker. Do you want to do a role in it?" I was like, I mean, sure. And here I am now, doing Fritz.
Well, it's been really fun having him do it with me. He fits the role really well, and I think that the choreographer saw that, and he's been Fritz ever since. So it's been really fun. I don't remember if he started doing dance lessons first or if he started being in the Nutcracker first. I just love spending my Sundays working on the choreography for super long because I get to spend extra time with my friends. It's really super rewarding getting to perform in front of so many people and show off all of our hard work. That's what I love about doing it.
I inspire to be the Nutcracker because I feel like that's a really cool and very inspiring role to partake in. 5 years maybe until I'll be able to take part in that because, you know, you have to be very strong in the arms and legs and all that, so yeah. I feel like if you're wondering on partaking in ballet, it's a very calm way to express yourself in different formats. Like, it's very expressive that it's just, you need to put work into it, but it's very fun. So I would say you should try it if you have the partaking.
New COVID numbers shattered records in many Canadian provinces. Besides BC today, Ontario posted more than 9,500 cases, a jump of almost 4,000 in one day. Quebec exceeded its record again with more than 10,000 recorded cases today. And as Marina von Stackelberg shows us, health officials are pleading with Canadians to get tested and get their booster shots, even as supplies of both lag far behind demand.
On the day Ontario smashed another record for new COVID-19 infections, more lines for a booster vaccine.
I have an appointment which is like way far away, but I just wanted to make sure that I can get something faster as things are getting worse by the hour.
Those accelerating case numbers across Canada are likely even higher than reported, as the wait to get test results, even to get a test in the first place, grows. Some provinces have maxed out their swabbing capacity. Now they're trying to conserve resources.
So I want to be very clear. Do not go to a testing center unless you have symptoms. And then we need to preserve the more accurate PCR testing for those who really need it.
Younger Manitobans, those under age 40, those without underlying medical conditions, if you have respiratory symptoms, cold-like symptoms, flu-like symptoms, you can assume you have Omicron. You can stay home and isolate. You don't necessarily need to go get tested.
Quebec is ordering millions of extra rapid tests as the worst hit province also starts to prepare for a hospital surge. Nearly 500 of Quebec's healthcare workers have tested positive for COVID-19 in just one day. Now the province is reportedly considering letting infected staff keep working as long as they don't have symptoms, a plan being met with objection.
Things evolve quite rapidly. You might have someone that's asymptomatic and infected, and within a couple of hours are symptomatic, and the next thing you know, we're infecting people who are patients and infecting our colleagues, and we have outbreaks in our hospital, and we lose more healthcare staff.
Nunavut is in a lockdown with cases now in 4 regions. Anyone who arrives in the territory who isn't triple vaccinated must self-isolate, as healthcare workers across the country beg Canadians to cut down their contacts.
If we see all of these infections all at once without some spacing out due to restrictions on gatherings, then we're going to have a real problem again.
Marina von Stackelberg reporting. Meanwhile, in his annual holiday message, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau talked about the tough year everyone has faced. But he says there are reasons to stay hopeful.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Canada. 'Tis the season for traditions old and new, for connecting with loved ones near and far, and most of all, 'tis the season for hope. Now, I know it might not feel like we have a whole lot to be hopeful about. After all, 2021 was another tough year, and we're not out of the woods yet. But here's the thing. We got through it together. Over the past year, we helped our neighbors. We supported our local businesses. We stayed home, skipped celebrations, and wore masks to keep each other safe. Our kids missed sleepovers and birthday parties, and we rolled up our sleeves to get vaccinated so we could defeat this virus. In other words, we showed up for each other. Because of that, we have one of the best vaccination rates in the world, and we created over 1 million jobs. We can, and we should, take comfort in the knowledge that there is no limit to what we can achieve when we pull together. So this season, and as we come into a new year, let's keep showing up for one another. Let's encourage our friends and family to get their vaccine and booster shots. Let's follow public health measures, wear our masks, and keep our distances. Let's keep being safe and smart, and let's finish the fight against COVID-19 so we can build a better future for everyone. My friends, brighter days are ahead, and we'll reach them together. From our family to yours, Hadrian, Ella Grace, Xavier, Sophie, and I wish you joy, health, and love this holiday season and beyond. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Coming up, we'll share a modern rendition of a classic Christmas tune recorded for CBC's Food Bank Day. You'll want to hear this one.
In Saskatchewan, swirling snow made some highways impassable and others very dangerous. To the west, it looked much the same. Here, the wind and snow were accompanied by a biting cold snap. Temperatures tumbled quickly from +2 to -32 degrees Celsius.
Oh, it's way too cold here.
We really like it, yeah. We like the cold weather. The highways were as treacherous as they looked. Slippery stretches and low visibility made driving an adventure. These bus passengers thought they were on their way from Edmonton to Calgary, but their driver had to turn back.
They just shut it down in Woodpassman. They just couldn't see the road, couldn't see the ditches, visibility zero.
Throughout the west, air travel was in chaos. In the British Columbia interior, snow and ice grounded some planes, others didn't even make it in.
Got canceled. It just came from Vancouver and it just headed back now.
It landed and took off?
Can't even land, can't even see the runway.
Many flights were already fully booked with holiday travelers, and cancellation after cancellation left the airport clogged.
To cancel tonight, well, you're back in the same situation, so probably best to give it a day.
By the end of the day, most of British Columbia had either been hit by the storm or was bracing for it. The forecast for most of the province tomorrow, severe winter weather. Ian Hannamansing, CBC News, Vancouver.
What do you want for Christmas?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what I want. I want clothes, jewelry, Barbie dolls, games for my Game Boy.
Oh, dear. There we go. Here we are at the Regent Mall in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Everything's going well, but we haven't got any snow yet. Dear, she's raining again today. Everything's going all right. The boys are looking for the regular toys. Lots of Nintendos, and the girls are looking for Barbies. Oh, dear. The one thing is, the girls are also looking for little trucks, and the boys are looking for dolls also. And there's always a little one or two looking for their 2 front teeth, which got knocked out this year. Everything's going fine. So everybody have a good Christmas, and I'll see you around Christmas Eve, okay? There we go.
What I want for Christmas is to pass my swimming, world peace.
Hi, this is Santa Claus from Richmond Centre Mall, Richmond, British Columbia. The children here are just terrific this year. Instead of asking just for toys for themselves, they've been asking for donations to various funds for the homeless, for the needy, and so on. I just can't believe it. Instead of toys for themselves, they've even asked Santa what he would like as a gift. And they've just amazed me.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC Vancouver inbox.
The Push International Performing Arts Festival returns. Enjoy theater, dance, music, and multimedia by local, national, and international artists. Visit pushfestival.ca for tickets and more information. And stream holiday episodes of your favorite CBC shows like Schitt's Creek and The Great Canadian Baking Show with the free CBC Gem app. Check it out at gem.cbc.ca.
This week we've been sharing some of the talented artists who shared songs for CBC Vancouver's 35th annual Food Bank Day broadcast. Tonight we have global recording artist Jagpreet Bajwa with Silent Night.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
Dasher and Dancer have been busy in Zoom meetings, don't you know, all week getting ready for tonight. Yes, we know reindeer can fly, but those magical animals have some other features that are just as impressive. Fiona Odlum looks at this fascinating creature.
The most popular animal this time of year has to be the reindeer. Fun fact, reindeer and caribou are the same animal. In North America, if they're wild, they're called caribou. If they're domesticated, they're reindeer. Reindeer are known for their ability to fly, but did you actually know that they're excellent swimmers? In fact, reindeer can swim 3 times faster than humans at 9 kilometers per hour. And we have to talk about Rudolph's famous red nose. Reindeer noses have lots of tiny veins, which help keep them red hot. They're the only member of the deer family that actually has hair on their nose. Now that hair traps in the cold air, warms it up before it hits their lungs. Boop that nose. Reindeer have amazing eyesight. Their eyes actually change color. In the summer, they're brown, and in the winter, they're blue. Scientists believe the blue helps them capture more sunlight in the Arctic, where it's dark for most of the winter. And finally, both male and female reindeer grow antlers, but the males actually shed their antlers in the autumn. So those reindeer pulling that magical sleigh, well, they're all female. Sleigh all day, ladies.
Thank you for joining us tonight and all this busy week and year. You can find our news program online at cbc.ca/BC. Our 11 o'clock news is taking a break tonight, as am I. I will see you in the new year. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everyone. Please stay safe. Here's to a better 2022.